With me, Farhana Sheikh. MPs are ramping up pressure to push for the tabling of the anti-hopping law. And after announcing the new lineup for its executive committee, we analyse how this renewed leadership can bring forward a new approach for DAP. That's coming up. With 2 more days to go till the current parliamentary sitting ends, MPs from both sides of the aisle are ramping up pressure on the government to table the anti-hopping law. The opposition has also issued a final warning to the government, saying they will take it to the streets if the law was not introduced before the Dewan Rakyat session ends or during a special session.
Lihat pilihan raya saja yang dilakukan di 3 buah negeri. Sudah ratusan juta wang negara kita hilang. Sedangkan pilihan raya itu tidak perlu. Kalau politik stabil, tunggulah 5 tahun. Ataupun ada satu perkara yang tak dapat dielakkan. 3 pilihan raya ini sudah memakan belanja yang begitu banyak. Sebab itu kita lihat corruption index semakin meningkat, demokrasi, parliamentary demokrasi tidak stabil, maka kita harap pindah segera Akta Anti Lompat Parti. Ini amaran terakhir daripada kami.
Agreeing with Mat Sabu, Datuk Seri Muhammad Nazri Abdul Aziz said there should be no reason not to enact the law.
Kepada saya minta kepada jemaah menteri, ya, tak usah fikir panjang-panjang. Kita ada MOU dengan pihak pembangkang. Dan satu dia perkara untuk menunjukkan keikhlasan kita ialah dengan membentangkan pada waktu ini. Dan kalau tak sempat nak habis pun, kita buatlah satu sesi yang khas yang saya percaya ramai di kalangan kita ingin berucap dan memberi pandangan dan sokongan terhadap rang undang-undang ini supaya jangan lagi lah ianya berlaku di masa yang akan datang. Betul lah macam mana pokok sena, bukan pokok sena, Kota Raja. Saya sokong dia betul. Kita tak boleh dah ni melompat-lompat ni, memalukan.
The Home Minister, Datuk Seri Hamzah Zainuddin, said that the Cabinet has initially agreed with the tabling of the anti-hopping law. However, more studies need to be done to ensure practicality in the long run. Among others, he said the law needs to provide an accurate definition of the term party hopping before it is tabled in the Dewan Rakyat. Meanwhile, representatives from Suwaram and Bersih 2.0 also urged the government to immediately table the anti-hopping law and scrap the Independent Police Conduct Commission IPCC bill. The 2 NGOs, together with 53 other civil groups, marched from Plaza Tugu Negara to the Parliament building Tuesday morning to hand over 2 separate memoranda to government MPs, including de facto Law Deputy Minister Datuk Mas Irmayati Samsudin. Meanwhile, MUA MP Syed Saddiq highlighted the flaws in the IPCC bill, including the appointment of police representatives or its former officers, which could result in conflicts of interest. The MUDA president also urged the government to maintain the Independent Police Complaints and Misconduct Commission IPCMC and drop the IPCC. DAP Central Executive Committee (CEC) has announced their new lineup over the weekend, with Anthony Loke elected as Secretary General, replacing the term-limited Lim Guan Eng. We asked political analyst Professor Dr. Kartini Khalid on whether the renewed leadership can bring forward a new approach for the party.
Frankly speaking, I think I'm a bit dismayed looking at the new lineup of DAP. The question is, where is Aziz Bari, Marina Ibrahim, Sheikh Omar Bagharib, Edri Faizal, Sharizan Johan, Shalina Rashid? They only have young Shafura ranked at number 24. Then there was only 1 seat for the Malay out of 30 seats for Central Committee's position in DAP. So for me, I would consider this is very lame. DAP is still the same old DAP, dominated rigorously by the Chinese. Yet they are advocating continuously on Malaysia's concept of equality to all. So I think this is really in paradox. DAP strongly advocated to amend, or some said to remove Article 153 of the Malay special position in the Federal Constitution. And they are proposing the idea of replacing it with the Malaysia concept of equality and equity. Still, they don't really walk the talk. And the paradox is really reflected in their new lineup. So basically, epistemologically and orientation, they never change. The retaining of their Chineseness orientation never change and is articulated in their everyday form.
According to Kartini, DAP must be smart to woo the Malay community. She weighs in on how the party can strategize in the new era of Malaysian politics.
I think DAP has to strategize better to win the Malay vote. They should be able to assess their achievement by mapping their strength, their weaknesses, their opportunities, and be able to identify the risk and how to overcome or minimize the chance to stop DAP from sliding down, sliding to the drain at the national level. So first and foremost, DAP must provide equal opportunity to the Malays members in DAP. They have to change their mindset and walk the talk.
With that said, she lauded the CEC for electing Seremban MP Anthony Loke as new party leader.
Where people always look at his background and much more happy to know that he is actually a local graduate from UM and UKM and he's mingled well with the Malay communities. He speaks well also. So I think this is one of the criteria that the Malays always look at the leader who speak Malays well. Okay, it shows that how they simply attach and identify themselves to the Malay communities. He was the Minister of Transport during the Pakatan Harapan government, served as a Member of Parliament for Seremban in year 2013 and Rasah way back in 2008. He also did as state chairman of the Pakatan Rakyat Coalition before Pakatan Harapan took over from the Barisan Nasional in May 2018, and he is known for his strong opinion in Dewan Rakyat, addressing his independent mind. For me, he is wholly grounded, a local graduate from Universiti Malaya and Universiti Kebangsaan Malaysia, and he understood society much more critical. I think he should be the leader that DAP must look up to and install this big responsibility to lead the party to perform better in GE15. He is well-grounded and accepted well among the Malays and non-Malays.
With the change in leadership, what can we expect from DAP in the near future? Syed Kutan speaks to our guests about the party's role in the evolving landscape of Malaysian politics. That's coming up after AWANI tonight. PKR MPs have spoken up against the Women, Families and Community Development Ministry for not banning child marriage through legal amendments. They pointed out how existing measures goes against previous efforts undertaken to ban the practice. The ministry, helmed by Datuk Sri Rina Harun, however, said that the government is committed in curbing the practice in the country. However, this will be done through programs under the National Strategic Plan for addressing the causes of underage marriage. She emphasized how there are other steps involved other than through the law, such as education, advocacy, health, reinforcement of the family institution, and community socio-economic support. Rina, in a written reply to Pematang Pau MP Nurul Izzah Anwar, also said that her ministry would discuss with the Islamic Development Department, JAKIM, and Sharia Judiciary Department to hold talks with the respective states' Islamic religious authorities to raise the legal age for marriage to 18. Meanwhile, in a tweet, Segambut MP Hana Yeo also said that the government should revisit the 5-year roadmap initially prepared a month before the Sheraton move that specifies the plans for government agencies to eradicate child marriage. Government data last year showed an average of 1,500 children in the country from various backgrounds marry annually, with girl brides making up 90%. We'll go for a quick break. Stay with us.
Bangkitkan anak anda dengan Coco Crunch. Kini dengan Nutri-Smart. Ia membekalkan tenaga. Coco Crunch juga terdapat dalam pack budget.
Welcome back. All 132 people on board a China Eastern plane are feared dead after it crashed into the hills in southern China yesterday. Rescuers continue to search the wreckage of the plane, but state media report that no survivors have been found. It is the country's worst air disaster in more than a decade. The Boeing 737-800 had been in the air for over an hour and was nearing Guangzhou when it suddenly plummeted from a cruising height. According to flight tracker data, the plane dropped 30,000 feet in less than 3 minutes. Rescue teams are still trying to locate the black box and other parts of the plane that could help experts work out the cause of the crash. There have been mass flight cancellations, and China Eastern Airlines has grounded its entire Boeing 737-800 fleet. At the Guangzhou Baiyun Airport, a handful of people were seen at a holding area for families of the passengers as they await further word on their relatives. The tragedy has sparked widespread grief in China. President Xi Jinping ordered an immediate investigation into the crash, and the country's vice premier is overseeing the search and rescue operation. US President Joe Biden warned that Russia may consider using biological and chemical weapons in Ukraine. Biden did not cite any evidence making those claims, but said that Vladimir Putin's back is against the wall and may resort to what he calls as false flag attacks. Biden claimed that Russia's false accusation that Kiev had biological and chemical weapons illustrated that Putin was considering using them himself. Washington and its allies have previously accused Russia of spreading an unproven claim that Ukraine had a biological weapons program as a possible prelude to using such weapons itself. But Biden's latest remarks were some of his strongest yet on the subject. Russian troops have failed to capture any major Ukrainian city more than 4 weeks into their invasion, and increasingly are resorting to causing massive destruction to residential areas using airstrikes, long-range missiles and artillery. Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte's party said it will support Ferdinand Marcos Jr. in the upcoming presidential election. Voter surveys showed that the son of the country's former dictator is heading towards a landslide victory in the election scheduled for May 9th.
Marcos Jr.'s presidential campaign has been fueled by a massive social media effort, which critics say had been pumping out positive misinformation about him. The 64-year-old has teamed up with vice presidential candidate Sara Duterte in an alliance between the sons of two of the country's most powerful political families. Outgoing presidents usually identify their preferred successor, who they hope will shield them from criminal charges brought by rivals and to protect their legacy. Duterte is constitutionally barred from seeking a second term as president.
That is all we have for you on AWANI tonight. Get the latest news updates on COVID-19 and COVID-19 vaccines from astroawani.com and the Astro AWANI app. I am Farhana Sheikh. We'll see you again.
Stand by. 3, 2, 1.
Hidup ini umpama permainan. Ada masanya berseorangan. Kadang-kadang berkumpulan. Ada masa kita tewas. Ada masa kita menang. Alami suka dan duka pengembaraan kehidupan mereka sepanjang match ini di Astro Citra dan Astro Go.